we cherish values. I want to say that because sometimes there is that mistake. People think we are a people, meaning Rwanda, but also maybe the continent of Africa. We are a people who need to learn values from others. I want to disagree, absolutely. I think, and I will speak for first my country, I know better, but I think it's the same with other African countries. We have where we come from, we have our problems, but when it comes to values, we have values, absolutely. So even with those weaknesses in our societies, we still cherish values. And I'm speaking for Rwanda here, we very much do that. And it is really based on that, as Rwandans, that we proudly want to play our part. We want to own up to our problems. We even expect to hold each other accountable and be held accountable by others. That one, there's no question about it. So that's what has helped, and I think things got much better since 28 years ago. Things got better for the country, and we want things to continue getting better for us. That is all about the investments we make every day, including the investments that come from those friends and partners I talked about. We want to invest well and invest so that we can keep getting better. In fact, that's why we're also not offended by anyone telling us that we need to get better. That's true. We want to be better. So we don't take offense when people keep pointing fingers at. And something else I want to emphasize is that we are people who respect. We are very respectful of others. Even if we may have differences for one reason or another, we maintain being respectful. In some way, of course, we expect that back to us. But again, even if people didn't respect us, we have no quarrel about that, because we concentrate on what we think we should do for ourselves. We have had a very tragic history, as I said. We have struggled, and we have concentrated on the side of our responsibilities. We did not choose to keep blaming others we could have blamed for our own problems. There are many who have a hand in our problems, but we don't take much time trying to apportion blame, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make us better doesn't make us stronger. It just takes away a lot of effort trying to throw around the blame to other people when we could be doing a lot for ourselves. So that's something else I wanted to. So even for those who every day have something to tell us, to teach us, the lessons we every day get from some of which we don't need or are not even correct, we still have no quarrel with that. Maybe we learn also one thing or two from that, and we continue moving ahead. Going back to who we are, and I just want to say this directly to you because you represent your countries, organizations here in Rwanda. I'm sure you are interested in discovering one or two things here. But what I've just finished talking about contains some of the things that people will never maybe understand about us. But if they want to understand that, we might do better together. So for example, I'm saying this is the month of April when we have all kinds of problems, when we try to remember the history, the tragic history and so on. And you cannot overcome that history unless you emphasize truth and facts and interpret all that the right way, because there are things that we know, we have lived, we have seen, so we need to give them a correct interpretation and reading, and we try to do that. So sometimes it is striking to see that some people want to teach us who we are, worse still, who we should be. It becomes, that's where the problem comes in now. Even anybody trying to interpret our history for us, and their line of interpretation becomes the one we must follow. This is not correct, and we have a problem with that, absolutely. But again, even when we have a problem with that, we will always respond respectfully. I said it from the beginning. I tell you who I am, I tell you who I think I should be, and after that, if you have your own views, I listen to them, and we have to find a way of continuing forward anyway, because that's what we have to do. But I leave no one in any doubt that who I am, who I want to be, where I want to go, my views, my feelings about that will prevail always over these lessons that people may want to teach us, about us. When I'm saying I, forgive me, it should be we, because I'm speaking for this country of Rwanda that I happen to lead today. And I want to do the best job of that while I'm still there. When I'm not there, I want those who will be there to, I think, do justice to our people, to our history, and also to our future, the future we want. You know, sometimes there's one case, single case, but which has a lot of meaning. You can read many things into it. You are aware of bringing celebrity status and hero status in our history. And people manufacture it through a movie, through a film. And take that even above the law. The law of our land, the law of our country, which actually would not pass the test of laws of other countries, even of those that think it should pass the test here in Rwanda. And expect us to, you know, there is a case which, I mean, I'm saying it is not a secret, everyone knows it here, where somebody belonged to, or created, or led several times back and forth, or groups, armed groups that been linked to genocide, and so we have them here in the court of law. It's absolutely surprising that people who have hundreds of years of history of this sort of thing I'm talking about, of justice, democracy, human rights, and so on, sometimes rightly give us many lessons. Getting it so wrong in this particular case. But I understand it's not just getting it wrong, like they don't know. It's getting it wrong because of who they think we are. They just look down upon us. While you can look down upon me, you can disrespect me to that extent, it's also my duty to make sure that I don't agree with you. I would seriously object. That's what Rwanda is and should be, for now and for the future. To absolutely object. So I see it every day, every now, you know, Minister of Foreign Affairs, as I explained, the Minister of Justice, everybody. Me, I have to explain, you know, this one. So one time, some of these leaders, you would have real respect for. One of them comes to me and say, you see, you have to have this man released. I said, but I'm not the court, first of all. Second, even if I were to use my authority as the president, which would be abusing my authority, can you explain to me a little bit of why you think it should be the case that this man be released? And you would say, but you see, he's a hero, people say, it's like he's rivaling you, meaning me. I told this guy, I said, no, I'm not a hero. I don't even want it to be, because that's what I said during the commemoration, the 7th of April. This hero thing is, how can you be a hero in a situation like ours of a genocide where you lose? Well, I would have, one would have been a hero if we had prevented this from happening in the first place. But we lost. We lost 1 million people over. So I said, okay, fine. If you think it should be released, how about the families of the victims? People who were lost on the hands of this person and the groups he led that came and killed the members of their families. What do I tell them? And I said, because he was not even arguing from saying, no, this person is innocent. No, because the evidence there is overwhelming, including the evidence he provides himself. Because he talks about it. He talks about what he did. Very proudly. Now, so I said, so what happens? Would that be justice? What happens to these people? Oh, then this person said, oh, so they are there, they are victims. So we can also go on to them and say sorry to them, because I had to remind him that there are these victims. Then I said, okay, how about others co-accused with him? Because there are 20-something, around 20, who also testify and, first of all, accept their responsibility themselves and testify against this person because they were together in the same crime. He says, so what happens to this? Do we have this one released and these ones stay in prison and then the victims, we tell them to shut up? Or I said, that's not how you would do things in your own place. Why do you want me to do that you're telling me to do? Of course, he would have no argument, but he looks like saying, no, you should do it because I'm telling you to do it. Or because the story about this person concerns us. It's like we are the ones who made this person. Fact, which is true. They are the ones who created the status, celebrity status for this person. Because they wanted to build their own narrative about Rwanda, about us. So the effort is about changing victims to be the perpetrators. So there are two narratives as what happened here in reality in Rwanda. So there is a counter-narrative. No, it's not everything you see or you are told that is true. There is another narrative. And that's how this story goes on and on. It's not about the people who were targeted in the genocide. Even if 100 and something, all members of the UN General Assembly know the facts. One or two countries say, no, because other people died also. It's not just the Tutsis who died, it's the others. Now, that takes us back to find the interpretation. What do you mean when you're talking about a genocide? Is it just the numbers of people who have died? Or is it even the manner in which they died, being targeted for who they are? So what is the book you are reading about what happened here? Those of us who are here, who know, and everybody knows, how can the story change? Okay, but if you're saying, oh, even others died, that's okay, that's true. By the way, sometimes they say, no, but even moderate Hutus died, they still died on the hands of the same people who were targeting these ones. No, but not only that, actually some foreigners died here. We had Belgians died, Italians died, Americans died. There are many people who died here. So because you're saying, oh, even Americans died, even the Italians died in Rwanda, so it stops being this, what it should be called and what the UN has called it. It should be what we want it to be called. So we have to have the capacity, and we do, to really absorb this insult, I should say. We have developed the capacity to absorb it and live our lives and move along. We change what we have to change and live with what we have to live with. I just wanted to be clear so that, and let me tell you, sometimes there are certain things about us, about our history, about the core of who we are, that no amount of intimidation can work here. I just want to I know maybe some people know it already, but I wanted it to come from my own mouth and tell you that some of these things. And I really hope that even when I'm not there, that these other good Rwandans will stand up to this kind of challenge we face every day. I really hope so. And I'm talking to you as friends, as partners, but I think I need to say this, and I repeat it even some other times, because it really burns in me to say it. So sometimes I have to release it and let it go. That for this precious small land of ours, we've fought and bred for, and to put on the right path, and that anyone can come and of course, it becomes easier when they use Rwandans themselves. We see them every day, everywhere. but few. So because of that narrative, some people outside there trying to help amplify their nonsense. In 2014 or 15, I predicted this problem. I don't know if anybody here remembers. I think we were in Amsterdam, and I was addressing Rwandans. It was Rwanda Day. Does anybody remember which year that was? I think it was 2014 or 20. And I told these Rwandans, they had come in thousands. There were about 5,000 Rwandans that had come from the whole of Europe. And I asked them how they had come to Europe. Some of them explained, and I told them, I said, you know what? Some of you came here by telling lies. I said, there are some of you who came genuinely to Europe and were received. I'm happy for you. But there are many of you who told lies. I said, some of you told lies as victims of politics in Rwanda, others. I said, actually, some of you committed crimes in Rwanda. And then you come here as innocent people running away from something, from the evil government of Rwanda. I said, but one time, that's what I told them. I said, one time, this Europe you are taking advantage of. Because I think in Europe, I think you also have some confusion. Because they would, anybody who would, hey, you know, I'm dying, Kagame was going to kill me, and they say this is, yes, in democracy, freedom, you are saving this man. But this man has actually killed people in Rwanda. And he's just telling lies so that he gets to be accommodated in Europe. I told them that time, 2014. I said, one day, Europe will get to know this truth I'm telling you. And they will come back to be asking each of you, well, how did you come here? And they will know the truth about you, and they will pack you in a container or something and send you back. I told them. Does anybody remember that conversation? Yes. I said they will come to know the truth because they have their own problems here as well. They want to manage. I don't think we are going to transfer half of Africa into Europe, and Europe accommodates it and keeps silent. So they wake up and say, what is this? And I told them, I said, by the way, why are you actually going there? Why don't you try and together we do things like they do in Europe where you are running to, so that you stay in your countries. In fact, in that meeting, there were some people, there were some Malians, people from Burkina Faso, and others from Senegal. I remember when it came to Q&A, they were asking me questions. They put up their hands and they told me their stories and how they lived in Europe. In fact, one another person at that time was from Cameroon. He was a doctor. And he told me he had come from Belgium. And he said, you know, I have heard so much about Rwanda. You know, I want to come and work in Rwanda. I'm a medical doctor. He has some good specialty. I said, either I will leave you with a ticket, or I bring you on my jet and you go home. And this man has come, by the way. He's here. He's working here now. He's working in King Faisal Hospital. Yes. So there are these things people don't know, don't understand, or don't want to believe, but I thought I needed to say it. Yes, people need to understand us and understand the situation between us and them and others. But and I wanted to emphasize, we learn lessons, we do it, but we learn the lessons we have to learn. In fact, I hope in the UK, when they send these people, they should send to us. Some people they have accommodated for over 15 years who committed crimes here, actually. We sent case files and, investigated. These are clear case files. Yes. Instead of being accommodated in that beautiful place in the UK, these people should be in jail, either in the UK or here. But they shouldn't be, because that is for sure. There are about 5 or 6, I don't remember the number. So, and again, to prove to you that we are people really, that people should understand us better. You are aware that even when we were dealing with the worst situation anyone had to deal with, do you remember that is a time we actually abolished death sentence, right? Why could we have done that? You think anybody forced us to do it? Because those who could have forced us, or who sometimes make a mess of things like this, for them they still have death penalty in their laws. They still hang people. And I don't think there is anybody in the world, at that time we abolished the death penalty, had better justification to hang people like we did have justification. Nobody. Yes, we're dealing with mass murderers. So, but realistically, we're even saying, but how do you hang 1,000 people? We said this hanging of people, like some people do, is just, or how do you hang some and leave others when it is the same crime they have committed? So we decided to abolish the death sentence. Isn't this remarkable, in my view, that the people of Rwanda decided that death penalty be abolished at the wrong time? The worst time. This was the time not to do that, because there was urgency to actually hang people for killing our innocent people. So I'll just say a few, but I thought I needed to offload some of these things on you, and so that they don't remain in my chest. So I'm sure we are better people, we are stronger people, we can be good partners with all of you, those who want us, want partnership in us. We are happy and ready, but I just wanted to be sure that you understand us and the values around which we form partnership be clear. and that's what they are. So we, as some people said, we are going to host the Commonwealth heads of government meeting here in Rwanda, and for those who are members of the Commonwealth, and I wanted to say your country delegations, your leaders, we will do our best to make them feel welcome to Rwanda and for this meeting. And we have a lot to accomplish together. We, in our case, will always strive to use the resources, limited resources available to us, the best way we can, and get value for our money. So, once again, thank you so much for joining us for this dinner, and I want you to be happy in our country, and as we continue this same journey, we have a lot to do, and for us, again, we've been focusing on how we can make peace and create peace with our neighbors and in our region, and we will continue to do that. But in order to achieve that, we have to build ourselves, build the capacity to deal with anything that would take us back to the bad times of our history, and which we are decided and will never happen again. With so much more put to you than you expected, I thank you and wish you a very happy evening and a happy stay in our country for as long as you have to. And
I'm a king, yes, I'm a king, I think I'm a king,